Good afternoon, students. We are back to take the English class for junior inter, and we have already done the synopsis of all the prose section, the poetry, the non-detail, as well as the grammar. The little bit of grammar that I didn't do is not possible on the blackboard. Like missing the letters are nothing but dictation and nothing. And the common mistakes, please go through your textbooks or study material. Remember that if you know everything that is on the textbook, it is very easy for you to attempt the paper. Nothing comes from outside the paper. But when you are searching for answers in study material, there are few mistakes. Some few mistakes have been noted, like in the second comprehension, the name of who is I in this passage. In the answer, it was given as G.K. Chesterton. Please make a note, it is not G.K. Chesterton, but the narrator. Likewise, some of the answers also, they have been, this answer was wrong, but the others you find lot of print mistakes and everything. So don't go completely by the study material. You should know by now the answers and do it accordingly. Yesterday, we had started again the revision of parts of speech, and we did it a little in detail. As you know, the parts of speech are 8 in number. This you have been learning since your school days, and by now you should have been perfect with parts of speech. Out of the 8, I already explained till preposition. The 6th one, preposition, we had already completed and started with the conjunctions. Like you know, conjunctions are joining sentences. It joins 2 or more sentences. But what you don't know is there are 2 types of conjunction. One is coordinating. Coordinating conjunction, and the other is subordinating conjunction. Now, what do you mean by subordinate? The word subordinate should be tell you that it is not at par. It is not equal. We have already, I have already explained the difference between clause and a phrase. What is a clause and what is a phrase? Both are group of words, but clause makes complete sense because it has a verb, while phrase is also a group of words which makes sense but not the complete sense. And that is why in passive, active passive, when you come across a phrase, you cannot convert it into a from active to passive voice. Like I gave you the word, the sun sets in the evening. Very easy for you to remember. The sun sets in the evening. The sun is subject, sets is verb. This is not an object. And hence, such a sentence is known as an intransitive sentence, where there is no object. And that's the reason why you cannot have a passive voice. Anyway, coming back to clause and phrase, I've already explained both are group of words, but clause makes sense because it has a verb, while phrase does not make sense because it does not have a verb. Anyway, subordinate, which is not at par. So when you have subordinate conjunction is used with subordinating clause. But subordinating. Subordinating. If it is dependent on the main clause to make sense. That's what I said, subordinate, which is not at par. It is below. It depends on the main clause to make sense. While coordinating conjunction are two main clauses which are joined together to make coordinating conjunctions are used. What are coordinating conjunction? Like, take for example, and, yet, either, neither. Plus you have phrases like not only, but also, either or, neither nor, so that. So all these are coordinating conjunction. And subordinating conjunctions are though, although, if, unless, until, then etc. Sorry, until, unless. Etc. Coordinating conjunction joins sentences at the center. Like, the boy is handsome. The boy is rich. Okay? By itself, it makes sense. The boy is handsome is a main clause. The boy is rich is also a main clause. You can join both with the boy is not only handsome, but also rich. This is a coordinating conjunction. Subordinating conjunction. It rains. The match will be cancelled. if you see, the match will be cancelled is a main clause. It makes complete sense. It rains is incomplete. It depends on the main clause to make sense. So you use the subordinate clause. If it rains, comma, the match will be cancelled. So usually coordinating, not usually, coordinating always joins in the center. But subordinating, usually it starts with subordinating conjunction followed by subordinating clause and then the main clause. Usually, that doesn't mean at times. It is mostly starting with subordinating conjunction, but sometimes it can also come in the center. So these are two types of conjunctions. Coordinating, usually when we ask children what is a conjunction, they say joining two sentences, but they don't know about the phrase or a subordinating conjunction. They only know the it joins sentences. But remember, there are two types of conjunctions, coordinating and subordinating. Coordinating, connecting two main clauses, and subordinating, there is one main clause and maybe and one or two subordinating clause. Now coming to the last one, interjection. Interjection expresses sudden feeling. Sudden feeling. It is always, it always separates the feeling from the remaining sentence by an exclamation mark. I said always. Most of the time it has an exclamation mark. But sometimes when the exclamation is soft, but it separates from the remaining sentence by a comma. Like, for example, sudden happiness, you have won the match. Hurrah! We have won the match. Alas. But there are times when it is a soft exclamation. Oh, I Because for interjection, we usually say exclamation because it is always separates the remaining sentence by an exclamation mark. Here, the exclamation is soft. Oh, I've forgotten my purse. So when the exclamation is soft, you use a comma. When it is showing expresses great feeling, whether it is excitement, sorrow, anger, it is separated by an exclamation mark. So with this, we have completed the 8 parts of speech. Children, it is very easy if you remember the definition. And in certain cases, I've explained the position for you to understand clearly. Like there are 8 parts of speech. The first one is noun. Everyone knows noun. Noun is names of persons, places, animals, or things. And there are 5 nouns: proper noun, common noun, abstract, collective, and the last material. Proper noun of names of particular persons, places, things, like names of persons, Sarah, Ahmed, Nikhil, names of places, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Calcutta, names of books, Bhagavad Gita, Bible, Quran, and the names of mountains, Eastern Ghats, Western Ghats, Alps, the Himalayas, names of months, January, February, March, names of week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so on and so forth. Common, something which is in common. When I say get me a book, it can be any book. Book, pen, pencil, desk, blackboard, fan, light, all these are common things. Then next is abstract. Abstract, just like I gave you, this is feelings, something which cannot be seen but felt. Like take for example, hatred, love, beauty, happiness. Collective noun, something which is in collection. A bundle of books, a bouquet of flowers, a flight of steps, a flock of sheep. So all this is collective. Material, like I said, the metals, gold, silver, bronze, zinc. So with this, you know, and common noun is again subdivided into 2, the uncountable and the countable. Countable, which you can count. Uncountable, which cannot be counted. And remember, uncountable noun does not have the plural form. You use other things. You cannot say sugars, haze, sands. There's no plural for it. Likewise, when you want, you say, give me a little sugar or give me lots of sugar. She has less hair on her head, but you cannot say she has lots of hairs. So, sorry, no plural in uncountable noun. Now, going on to the next, the pronoun. Pronoun is used instead of noun. You cannot go on repeating the same name. So you use he for masculine, she for feminine, it for neuter gender, where you are not sure which gender to apply, then you use the neuter gender. Then going on to the verb, children, please make note of the tree diagram. Yesterday also I drew the diagram. Previously also when I taught you the verb, this is very, very important, children. And this is where many students make lot of mistakes. First one is the lexical, otherwise known as the main verb. And again, main verb is divided into two. It is the transitive and the intransitive. Just now I explained what intransitive is. Intransitive sentence is where you don't have the object. It may be a phrase, it may have any other expression, but doesn't have an object. So this is the main verb which does action. Now coming on to the other is known as auxiliary and otherwise known as the helping verb. Helping verbs are of two kinds. They are modals and they are primary. Modals are can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, might, need, dare, etc. Plus you have can, okay, can, could, I have already explained. Then this is the primary. Primary is again divided into three. Be form, do form, and have form. Have form is very easy. Has, have, had, plus the negative, hasn't, haven't, hadn't. Do also easy. Do, don't, does, doesn't, did, didn't. B form is slightly different, children, and in many study material, I've seen this thing, but they have, in primary, they just have written B form, do form, have form. And for models, they have just given models. But children are unaware what models are and what B form is. B form is, am, are, was, were, plus the negative. Like I said, am is only used for I, but in the negative, you use the same as are, aren't, isn't, wasn't, weren't. So this is very, very important, children. Please make note of it because some study material have not given the, like what is a B form and what models are and what intransitive sentences are. Others are very easy for you to understand. Intransitive sentence doesn't have an object. Models are can, could, shall, should. B forms are is, am, are, was, were. Do form and have form are easy, plus the negative forms. Now coming to the next adverb. Children get very easily confused what an adverb and an adjective is. If you remember the position of both of them, it is very easy for you to understand what forms they take and what their position is. Like adverb, I've given you the definition, add something to the verb. While adjective describes the noun. It usually takes up ly. Adjective describes a noun. It usually takes up est, but in some cases it takes up more and most, like beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. Also, you have exception, you have irregular adjectives like good, better, best, bad, worse, worst, less, lesser, least, so on and so forth. But the best thing that you should remember is the position. Position of an adverb is after the verb. She sang loudly. Adverb, verb, subject. While adjective, the position is before a noun. He is a tall boy. Boy, as you know, is a noun. Adjective, verb, subject. So if you remember this, children, it is very easy for you to find out what is an adverb and what is an adjective. Understood, children? Then the next is preposition. I've explained to you that in preposition, excuse me, I touched the board and it went off. Sorry. Preposition, I've explained that among the 8 parts of speech, that is the most unpredictable, but because it doesn't have one-to-one relationship. There are very few places that we can explain in preposition, like take for example, when, for, and when, since can be used. For is known as period of time and since is known as point of time. And I've given you the same sentence using both. Like take for example, for is known as period of time. And since is known as point of time. He has been living here you can frame two sentences using both. For a long time, he has been living here for a long time. He has been living here since 2000 or 2000. Okay. So he has been living here since 2020. When you pinpoint the time, you call it, you use since because you're pointing the time. But when you use for, when it is known as period of time, when you don't pinpoint the time, like for a long time. So I hope, children, you have understood when for should be used and when since should be used. Likewise, among and between. Between is used between two persons or two things. Among is more than two. Okay. So, like I said, preposition is very, very unpredictable. There are many things that we cannot say except for, since, among, between, beside, besides. Beside is next to you. Besides is more than that. Like besides being a poet, he is also a story writer. So other than this, there's another example like the office timings are dash 9 a.m. dash 4 p.m. It is automatically understood from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. But in case and is written here, you cannot use from. It is between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. So these are few things that you should keep in mind when you do preposition. And regarding conjunctions and interjections, I had just been telling you about it. I don't think it needs further teaching. So, shall we proceed to articles? When we ask children, how many articles are there? They immediately reply 3. What are they? They say a and the. This is a wrong what should I say? Wrong answer, because there are only 2, definite article and the indefinite article. And indefinite. So when you answer, children, you have to remember well and answer. Definite article, the, and indefinite article, a and an. Like when you ask for a book, give me a book. You are saying a book. It's indefinite. You are not specifying any particular book. But if you want the English book, you say, please give me the English book. You are specifying. When you specify, it is known as, you use the definite article the. When you don't specify, you use the article a. And as you know, and is used with vowel. What are the vowels? A, E, I, O, U. And you say and is used before vowels. That's again a wrong answer because you don't use before the vowels A, E, I, O, U, but the sounds, vowel sounds of A, E, I, O, U. And that's the reason you write a 1 rupee note. Though O is a vowel, you don't use and there. Likewise, you use an honest person. Another place where you use a and an is abbreviations and acronyms. Now, what are abbreviations and what are acronyms? Abbreviations are the short forms, like you say MP, and after abbreviation, you always put a dot. MLA, AM, PM, all are abbreviations. Acronyms like ICRISAT, these are also abbreviation. ICRISAT, UNESCO. They are also abbreviations, but there is no dot before them and they are pronounced as a whole. This like ISI mark also, you pronounce each letter and there's always a dot signifying it is an abbreviation. But here there are no dots and you pronounce it, you don't say ICRISAT. You pronounce it as ICRISAT, UNESCO, SARC, and then NATO. All these are acronyms. And when, like NATO, okay, sorry. You write a SAC country. You don't say an. But here you write, even though it is a consonant, you write an MP, an MLA, an ASI mark. But when you pronounce, what does MP stand for? Member of Parliament. When you write a member of Parliament, then you don't use an, but a member of Parliament. So remember, even though abbreviations, when you have consonants, you still use an. If it is an acronym, you use the word a, not an. This is very important. And there is a definite article. When you specify anything, the mountains, the places and everything, the Himalayas, the river Ganges, because they are definite. There is only one river Ganges. There's only one Everest mountain. Then the word the comes. The Everest, proper noun, so capital letter, the Alps mountain, the river Ganges. All right, Ganga or Ganges. In olden days, it was known as Ganges, but now it is Ganga River. Then the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, the Bible, because these are names of, you are specifying them. So you have to use the word, the definite article. When you are not specifying, when you want any book, any pencil, any boy, call the boy. When you specify one particular boy, then you specify the. Otherwise, it is a. Call any boy when you want to call, it is a. Likewise, give me a pen, give me a book. You are not specifying anything. So then, and that's why the is definite article. It's known as definite article. And a and is known as indefinite. And among a and is used before vowel sounding words. Don't say before vowels, but vowels. Vowel sounding words. A, E, I, O, U. And also when it is an abbreviation, you use A. But if it's an acronym, you use an. Sorry. I've just told you the opposite. Before an acronym, it is A. Before an abbreviation, it is an. Be it a consonant, you still use an before it. So with this, we have done articles, we have done parts of speech again. Children, it is not just enough for you to listen to the lecture and understand. All this needs lot of practice. Or it is only practice that makes you perfect. Don't think, oh, it is this, we have understood. It's not that. Because it's only when you practice that you come, you have lots of doubts. And with doubts, you start understanding the grammar. Like I said, grammar is something that cannot be by hearted. You have to understand the rules of grammar. It's just like mathematics, application is needed. Application is needed. You should know the definition. And like I said, there are always exceptions to rules. You should understand these exceptions. There are very few exceptions, and when we teach you, we explain to you the exceptions. So keep this in mind. Like I explained to you the vowels, where we ask the children, they say A, E, I, O, U are vowels, but they cannot explain why before a 1 rupee note an is not used, but A. Likewise, European, again a vowel. But again, we don't say an, but use A. So it is only with practice. As you practice, you'll understand more and more, children. So practice a lot. And like I said, at all times, keep your work very, very neat. Not only neat and clear, legible, but also keep each part of section in one place. If you mix up all the parts, sections, it is going to be very irritating to the examiner. There's hardly 10 minutes, so I will take up question tags, which are very easy. What are question tags? It is an short yes, no answers. When you give, you use question tags. In this, that is why I wrote the verb tree diagram, because auxiliary words are used over here. Like she can sing. Comma, can, when it is positive, the tag is in negative. Can't she? The auxiliary verbs are used here, children. And when the sentence is negative, he doesn't swim, does he? Always remember, children, when the sentence is in positive, the tag is negative. When the sentence is negative, the tag is positive. But when there is no auxiliary verb, like never, meaning negative. So the tag is in positive, but there is no auxiliary verb. So what do you use when there is no? You take up the do form. What are do form? Do, don't, does, doesn't, did, didn't. The appropriate. If it's the in the positive, then you use the negative. When it is in negative, you use the positive. Since it's negative, he never smokes. Does he? So this is how you write question tags. Very, very easy. Remember, if it's positive, it is negative in the question tag. And when the sentence is negative, you write in positive. But when there is no auxiliary verb, you take the do form, the appropriate do form, whether it is positive or negative. So practice a lot, children. It looks very easy when we explain to you. It's only when you write that you have lots of doubts. The main thing among the children is you have been given notes and everything. You by heart it without understanding. This is the worst way of studying, where you by heart without understanding. To do that, when you forget something, you have to start all over again. So try to understand, and more than anything in grammar, practice as much as you can. The more you practice, the more you become perfect. So children, again and again, why is she repeating? You keep saying, but this is what we found mistakes by most of the children. First thing, they say we have written quickly, and that's why our handwriting was not very neat. But as you practice, and that's, remember, your paper, 60% of your paper is objective. You have ample time. In next year, senior inter, you won't have this benefit because there it is more of descriptive. Here, when you have objective, you have ample time to go, not only to write neatly, but also to check your paper after finishing, whether you have attempted all the questions and whether your answers are right. So children, do this and practice a lot. English looks very easy, but it's only when you start writing that you come up with lots of doubts and you realize your mistakes. So we shall end the session here. Have a good day, children. Thank you. It's this.